All right. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Breaking the Block, where we try to help writers help writers. So if you have any answers in the chat with any of the questions that we have up here on screen, feel free to put your 2 cents in. If you have any questions yourself while you're in the chat, make sure to put them in the chat as well. If you can highlight them with like a capital Q or question or something like that beforehand so that it's easier for my eyes to catch, that would be awesome. But I am going to let Rach introduce herself and we'll get started.
I am Rachel D. Adams, part of the duo for Rachel D. Adams and Dawn McClellan, who should be in the chat whenever she gets a chance. We write urban fantasy and paranormal romance with a little bit of spice, a lot of characters who have really, really big egos recently. So we are actually publishing a new release it's officially out as an ebook, but the new release's official date is going to be the winter solstice this year, the 21st. So that's where we are right now.
Awesome. And I popped your website into the chat, so make sure to check that out, everybody. And we have, speaking of Dawn, there's Dawn. Good morning. We have Devin as well. Devin can't stay very long. She is volunteering for gift wrapping, and that is awesome. And we have Nicole and Cat Paw, and Rach loves the music. Yes, love the new office layout and the new hair.
New hair. It is so dark green, it's almost black.
I love it. Okay. So we do have a fairly large topic that we're going to hit towards the end. I do have a couple of smaller questions that we can hit beforehand, and I would just like to get those in first before we tackle the big dog. Let's see.
It's kind
of all right.
So
first question. Yeah. Just a little bit. That's the reason why we're like a minute late, because we got to talking about it.
Maybe it may not have had sass involved. I'm not sure.
Just a little bit. So the live stream, because of Streamlabs Talk Studio, it does lag for 5 seconds. Sometimes it drops down to 4 seconds, but it's usually 5 seconds. So bear with us. Sarah swinging in. Love the hair. Awesome. Okay. First question. How do you promote without seeming needy or being annoying?
Oh. I would say be enthusiastic about what you're doing. Be enthusiastic about your work and proud of your work instead of marketing, if that makes sense. I get a lot better feedback when it comes to being excited about what I've done and explaining it to people, and it gets them excited about it, and then they want to promote it or they want to try it out and stuff. And so because I'm just talking about it, I'm not necessarily going, here, take my book, or take this, or take that. It's more like, oh, well, yeah, we wrote something like that, and let me tell you about it. Let me tell you about the premise and everything. So I believe that's more or less how you, especially face-to-face or like at events and stuff, or even when you're talking to people over the phone or over something like this, it is so much better to just be enthusiastic about your work and then let them decide on their own without trying to push it on them and then making them feel pressured.
Gotcha. Again, I am by no means a professional or guru in this, but with I'm No Hero, for instance, I make a joke about it because the title is I'm No Hero, and the book is thick enough to make you a hero if you hit somebody over the head with it. So that it went well with that kind of line. And that's just kind of me promoting things here on my channel because, y'all have watched me write it and cry about editing it and all that stuff. And now it's out and you can see how big of a beast it is, kind of thing. Baron, I'm there. Morning, Skye. Devin says, for my first book that's free through newsletter sign up, hint, hint, here's my free book. Want to read it? If you want, send me a screenshot of your review and I'll send you swag. Nice. I like that.
Yeah, also offering stuff in return too. Like if you've got somebody that's already interested in it, I think that's fair. We also have like I do promos, so it's usually for people who are already looking for things in that genre. So that helps out. So you already know that that nervousness that you get about self-promotion. It's not there when it comes down to, hey, these people are already looking for something that I can provide to them. So you don't feel as awkward when you're doing promotions and stuff like that.
Okay. Giveaways or prizes work really well too, because I've noticed a lot of, take the AuthorTube Writing Conference, for instance. A lot of our fellow AuthorTubers offer their books and a little bit of swag as free prizes for the AuthorTube Writing Conference. And I think that's a good way to raise interest and get the word out too, because you have fellow authors reading your book and giving a review kind of thing. And hopefully they'll promote your book along with theirs. But two, I've bought a lot of books because I didn't win the prize.
And it was there. So, yeah. This last time I actually was going to purchase a book, and I was like, okay, well, I've got it written. Like I have a list. I keep a list of what I think I'm going to use and what I want to get. And D.L. Tillery's book was on there because I do like her kind of weird sense of style and the way she does things. And so it was on the list, and danged if I didn't win her book at the end of it.
That's awesome. I
was like, cool. There's one thing that I want to mention that I'm actually going to do a video on, hopefully today. It depends on my laziness level. But there's this really cool idea that C.A. Varian came up with. She writes all kinds of different types of genres and stuff. And one time she did a urban fantasy, and then a fantasy and fantasy romance, and that kind of stuff. And so what she did was, all of us that are her author fans, she sent out an email to us, and then also mentioned it on her Facebook page. Hey, I'm about to ship all of these books. Got any swag that fits? And so we just combined swag. And so now I've got this wonderful, magical, huge pile of goodies that she sent with her books that aren't hers, but they're the same genre. So now I'm going to be looking through the swag going, ooh, I wonder what this one's like. And I wonder what this one's like. So I think that's also a good idea. That's a good promotion.
Oh, yeah. AWC for the win. Entice the audience with a reader magnet. Yes. And good morning, Heather. How are you? And yeah, it's a doggo. This is Kona, for those of you who may not know her.
She's like, I'm like Lovin's right now.
Yes. Well, I moved you over there so that nothing would cover up your face, and then the pop-up did. Oh, well, we'll figure it out. All right. So, one of the least dangerous questions is out of the way.
We're getting closer.
So here's the second of the least dangerous questions. When is it a good time to start thinking about conventions and book signings? After you have 2 to 3 books out, or just one and some swag? I think I got this off of one of the writerly groups or beginning writers or something like that. So what do you think, Rach?
That's a tough question, honestly. It depends on what kind of event you're going to. I don't know about conventions. There's a big difference in all of these different types of events. If you're going to a convention and you've only got one book, but that book happens to have won awards that are specific to that convention, or if that book has been a gold mine for you in a specific genre and that convention is based on that genre, you could probably do pretty good at it. I've seen a lot of people do good at conventions and they only have one book, but they're showing people their future. Like if it's going to be a series, they're showing people the other book covers that are to come, and they're trying to get people to sign up to their newsletter with that free reader magnet that they're talking about. So there's that, but it depends on what you're willing to put into it, and if you've got a book that fits that place. I've had good luck, and we had 1, 2, 3 books out at the time we went to the Renaissance Festival, and we had one book that didn't quite make the cut, like the Vampire's Dragon. It was out, but we didn't have any copies of the book. And that was the one that everybody was like, "Oh, I wish you had copies of that book." It's like, well, yeah, I wish I did too. So it depends on where you're going and stuff. You can make just as much of the word just escaped me. You can be just as successful with one book as multiple books, but keep in mind the location and where and what genre and where you're going to be located and all that kind of stuff too.
Okay. I have no experience at like book fairs and book signings and stuff like that. My experience comes from anime and comic book conventions. So I've worked a couple of tables for my buddies who create comic books and stuff like that. And they've gotten the most success out of having three of their comic books ready. That way, because people tend to buy 1, 2, 3. So if you're a comic book artist or something like that, I would personally suggest 2 or 3. But as like an author, I have seen some authors at these conventions who have one book and they do very well. I've talked to them and they've like made their table back, plus they're in the green instead of in the red. But I've also talked to a couple others who haven't had any success, and all the genres and everything fit in that convention that they were at. It's just, I think it has a lot to do with preparedness and how you can reach out and talk to people, talk to the passerbyers and stuff like that. And I know for us introverts, that's like fear. One of the greatest.
Just have your elevator pitch ready.
Right. If you can engage with people, or at least have something at your table that can engage with people. There was one lady who had like a spinning wheel, and that brought tons of people over to her table. And what they could win on the spinning wheel was like bookmarks, little postcards, little character art pieces, bandanas, and stuff like that.
Swag matters.
Yes. So if you fear engagement, think about something like that. And that way the people actually come to you and they will ask you questions and stuff, so that you're not having to panic at trying to get people to come over to you. The infamous elevator pitch. Yes.
Heather has a good point too. When it comes to the smaller cons versus the bigger ones, you have to understand that some of the bigger ones, you're not. I mean, you're just not going to show up as brightly amongst all the stars. So be aware of that. Be aware of how many authors are going to be present at a specific event, and yeah. So like the ones that I saw that were good, that did well with only one book, actually amazingly enough was at Gen Con. And for those who don't know what Gen Con is, it's freaking huge. It's actually a gaming convention, but they have a lot of writer tracks and things like that. And the person who actually was, well, I was actually several of the people that were right there with tables and stuff. They were award winners, and they were people who had already had a huge following that were going to meet them there at Gen Con. And so they were actually doing a really good job with their tables, because they made sure that people knew they were going to be at the event, so that they could come to get signed copies of the book and things like that. So the preparation behind it is also very important, because you can actually get fans to come to you instead of just only worrying about people who have no idea what you're doing. Oh, are you muted?
Yeah.
There you go.
Okay. So, Devin says, just wanted some swag. It can take a really long time to get approved for a table. This is very, very true. And definitely show the future. And there's an idea too. Get a nice list of ARC readers from the conventions and the book fairs and stuff that you go to.
And also with the most recent one that we went to was the Durham, NC Comic Con. We were just wandering around, and a lot of them, what they'll have is they'll have multiples, so variant covers, that kind of thing.
Yes, definitely.
They may only have one book, but it's variant covers.
Yeah. Especially with the comic conventions. Yes, that was genius.
Oh, that's right. We did have 4.
Yep. And Devin's going to leave us. Bye. Everyone wanted the one we didn't have. Yep.
They liked Sebastian's face.
Swag definitely matters. Skye says, I did cons back when I had 1 to 2 books out, and I agree with both your points. If you have something related to the con, I think you can get away with only 1, but otherwise the more it is easier to make the money back with multiple.
It's like I've gone to a bunch of events over this past year, and anything that wasn't really related specific to the genre theme of our books, we didn't do very well. Like we may have made the table back, and that's it. But when it came to things like the Renaissance Festival, and we've got books about dragons and werewolves and stuff like that, and fantasy, or at least one of the worlds is fantasy. People were like, "Oh yes," and they were like coming to the table like crazy. And then, of course, also be aware of the activities, because they had a trinket and trade going on at the Red Fair. So we made sure that we had like extra little stuff to the side, so that we had like a little giveaway trinkets for trade for all the ones that were participating in that.
Nice. That's awesome. And the way they were advertised, Skye says, when you only have 1 or 2 books out, smaller cons are awesome. Yes. Bigger cons would be better as a networking experience with the same number of books.
Agreed.
Heather says, my late husband, who was the author at the time, was an incredible seller. He had the confidence that I will never have for selling. That plays such an important part in selling. Yes. Yeah. A lot of us call it masking, I guess, but if you can put on your salesperson face so you can deliver the sales pitch, that's awesome too. Well, Sebastian was not the luck. Yeah, the trinket trade. That'd be pretty cool. You're giving me ideas for when I get there. Okay. Are there any questions? Rach, do you have a question, or are there any questions in the chat that we want to hit up before we...
We're scared of diving into this subject.
We are.
To be fair, I only just started really looking into it this morning, so that's going to be interesting.
I have a feeling that this is going to be kind of like an ongoing thing as more news comes out about it. But yeah. Speak now or forever hold your peace.
I can't think of any questions right now, which is also problematic. So. I have brain drain from getting done with two revisions and re-releases, and then one complete release. So, as much as I would like to postpone this subject, I can jump into it.
Peas.
I have peas.
It's a subject. Any subject.
Look, I sent out a bunch of stuff on Instagram this morning already. I'm in trouble with people, so.
Yeah. So, all right. The topic that we were about to dive into is an AI publisher. They tout themselves as not being a vanity press, but it is very vanity press-like. And just to give y'all some juice on it, I am going to drop a whole bunch of links. This company has a YouTube channel, which I just found this morning. So have fun with that. Here is their website. If I can get my chat to work. Come on. There we go. And we have a couple of fellow YouTubers doing videos on it. For some odd reason. Oh, hey! While I'm putting the links, you want to introduce yourself?
Hello, lovelies. I'm Magie Ward, independent author, stroke survivor, and literally just woke up like 4 minutes ago because my alarm said, nope. Hello. Wow, we already have 53 comments. Hello.
It's been a good morning so far.
Yeah, it's that morning. So, what do we talk about?
We have covered things from events and when to start planning for events, whether or not you should do it when you've only got one book versus several books. What was the other one?
Yeah, events and how to advertise without being needy or annoying.
Yeah.
Okay, I think that's all the links.
Okay. My alarm went off this morning and I was just like, no, it's just too early. And it was actually 9, so.
Oh, well, like events is a weird thing because it's like like you can do events at like libraries and like at cons and stuff like that. Stephanie does a lot of cons. She and Tycho go together to do cons, and they have like totes and totes. They like fill her car with like totes of stuff for events and signage and things like that. So yeah, I've not really done those kind of things.
I like those alarms. We don't need no stinking alarms.
No, I didn't need a stinking alarm because Indigo put her freezing cold Rottweiler nose on the center of my forehead to wake me up this morning.
Okay. All right. So
when I first started writing, I didn't do events, but I did have some swag. And that was very popular, but swag is expensive. Swag is an investment. And when you go to these events, you need a couple $100 in book stock to sell, and you need a way to take payment, like squares, like little squares that you plug into your phone that people can swipe. And like doing events is, from what I've looked at, it's like $1,000 minimum investment in book stock and bling swag to just start doing events. But that's why I don't really do those. Because as a poor person, I need that money for my medications.
Yeah, it's definitely not a print on demand thing. So if you've got, that's another thing to think about. If you've only got one book and you're going to an event, that's going to be a little bit cheaper than if you've got 4 books and you want to make sure that you've got plenty of stock for it.
Or you're like me and you have 30 published books and $5 for each book plus 5 copies for each book.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. I can't hear you, Sam.
Of course, because I mute myself because of the typing. Yeah, and that's with 5 books being the minimum that you can do for shows for the most part, too. We didn't do events. We had an online store for his stuff, so the cost was a shared thing. Nice. Yeah. Okay. So here's the thing. Like I said, I dropped a whole bunch of links into the chat, and including in it is Spine's YouTube channel, their website. The last one is the article that was brought to our attention last Breaking the Block, which was last Sunday. There's also a playlist of all of our Breaking the Block things, which I will pin because I forgot to. There we go. And yeah.
Okay.
Anybody want to?
I'm going to read the intro to this article that started out. Artificial intelligence has accelerated processes key in recent years. Now, a startup is looking to bring technology to publishing. Publishing startup Spines recently raised $22.5 million in funding to speed up book production using AI, promising to publish 8,000 titles in 2025 alone. We promise to publish up to 8,000 books next year, Spine CEO and co-founder Niv told the bookseller. The ambition goal involves reducing the traditional publishing timeline from as long as 18 months to less than 3 weeks using AI-powered services such as proofreading, metadata optimization, and cover designs. Now, when you go through and you read the article, he says specifically, we're not here to replace human creativity. But he's also they want for authors to pay between $12,000 and $5,000 per book to use their self-publishing model. But there is this implication that they will be using AI to write the books as well, because it's like this person doesn't know how long writing really takes. So there's a lot of skepticism. There is a lot of wait and see among other AuthorTubers. There's a lot of oh hell no among AuthorTube about this. And
so I kind of go ahead.
Go ahead.
I wanted to point out something. So this is their website, and this is the About Us page. Not to really try not to throw shade here too much, but their team doesn't have an editor, doesn't have a cover artist, doesn't have a professional artist, doesn't have anything really with publishing other than sales and team management. That's their team. That's all these people. There's not an artist among them. There's not a writer among them that I know of. And there's not an editor among them. And this is their pricing. So their essential is the least costly here, and it starts out at $1,400. That's up to 50,000 words. I'm sorry. I haven't written a 50,000 word book in my life. It's all been closer to 100,000. The closest I've gotten is 68,000, I do believe. So yeah, in order to print do one of my books through them, I have to do upgrades, and it is an extra $300 per 25,000 words. So you're looking at a lot of money.
I'm top tier plans for all of them, because you know me, I don't write under $50,000 either. What Skye says, it straight up sounds like an AI vanity press, and looking at them in their press releases, it totally does, because they're talking about a complete use of AI for the storyboarding, a complete use of AI for the editing process, a complete use of AI for the formatting process, and a complete use of AI for the cover design process. Now, we all know that we use AI, all of us who are writers, all of us who are on AuthorTube, we use AI all the time in different grammar checking programs, spell checking programs. We use them to check for passive voice. These are all types of non-generative AI. However, non-generative AI, even though they have dumped thousands of plagiarized works into it, it still does not necessarily understand speech patterns. It does not understand idea communication. That's why, some people will see something that is AI and it knows the rules, but it doesn't know the finesse of using words yet. And you'll read it and you're like, well, that's kind of a weird thing to read. Like the very popular NaNoWriMo statement that everyone went on last summer, because it was AI written. People could tell that it was AI written. But the biggest problem is the biggest issue with this is if you are using AI generated content, it's using non-generative AI is one thing, using generative AI to mass produce these books. You are cutting the production time of these books down to 21 days. If you're that involves, first of all, because you need, let's say you take 1/3 of that time for the writing, 1/3 of that time for the editing, developmental editing, and 1/3 of that time for the thing. So you now have to produce a 50,000 word book with understandable characters, a comprehensive plot, a comprehensive trope set in 7 days. 50,000 words in 7 days is 12,000 words a day. It's an insane volume of words. And it's, good for them for packaging this, but it's obvious that none of the creators are writers. And the people that they're talking to, the Spines startup article in eWeek, and the article in Artificial Intelligence Today. These are articles. These are written by tech people. These are not written by publishing people, and these are not written by people who are writers. And if they want to start flooding 8,000 new works a year into the self-publishing market, we're talking about, what is it, like 3 or 4% of new published books, which doesn't seem like something when there's 100,000 new books a year coming out through indie authors, but it is. There's where I don't know where that number is. I'm sorry, I just woke up. I don't have my notes.
You're definitely fine. So let's see. Let me hit some of the comments here. Yeah. Vanity Press. Heather says, I'm very worried about it. I use AI to bounce ideas off of or to use to make specific elements for book design. However, writing a full book and taking it is yours.
But they're saying to tonerbusinesses.com is saying that it's between 2 and 4 million books a year that get published on the entire planet by trad and indie authors and businesses, and that's fiction and nonfiction together.
Gotcha.
And I mean, all of us on here get those ads about creating books with AI to maximize our Amazon potential with the infomercials for the people that are just basically telemarketers with a YouTube channel who have no business ethics whatsoever when it comes to creatives. So this is it's going to be interesting what happens.
You're basically putting businessmen in charge, business people in charge of a creative endeavor, and that never really mixes well. Not when they're the ones that are doing all of the decisions. They don't, like you said, they don't understand the nuances of what goes into the book and what should be there, what shouldn't be there. Me, just with my recent experience with doing all of the revisions on these books and then re-releasing them, it's gone through 3 different, you could call them AI editors, and then on top of that, through a human editor, and through both my eyes and Dawn's eyes. And there are things that are in our books that even the human editor wasn't sure what to do. We had to decide because we're the ones that write those characters, and we're the ones that have a specific way of putting things when it comes to dialect and when it comes to meaning for those characters. So what bothers me is that I suppose it will have to take somebody going through the process so that they can give a report back, because you're putting your book into their hands and then they're supposed to be able to edit it. Well, how much of it are they actually going to edit, and how much of it are they actually going to change? Also, how much of it are they actually going to edit correctly the way that the author would have intended? when who holds the rights to it once
Well,
they do that.
You hold the rights to it. That is the one thing they are guaranteeing, is that the
Okay,
authors
good.
hold the rights to it. That is that they in that aspect, they once you pay them the money and get your book back, it is completely your book.
But if I used any of my AI programs, PWA, I don't use Grammarly anymore, but those kind of programs, AutoCrit, things like that, and I were to just go yes, 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 yes on everything that they have suggested for me to do, just because it's correct according to what they know, doesn't mean it's correct according to what should be in the book. And even
Right.
some of it, if I had just said yes, is actually grammatically incorrect. They can't make up their mind where a comma should be, where a comma shouldn't be, whether or not you should keep this phrase or not. And it would also eliminate absolutely all of the larger sentences, and the whole book would be nothing but tiny little sentences the whole way through. And
well, and it would also I mean, if you strictly follow grammar rules, you're supposed to remove all ly words. Remove all your ly words, all your adjectives, all your descriptors.
So it becomes flat.
You end up with paper dolls in a white room.
Mm-hmm.
And following a plot that doesn't necessarily make sense, even if it hits all the plot beats.
So what they're doing is, if they do not have authors taking care of what they're actually editing on the payroll, then what will be the end result? And that doesn't even get me. That doesn't even get me into the art part.
Well, that's not even you all know that I use Leonardo AI for my Relic of Time Wars series.
Mm-hmm.
And it gives me the option to turn off imported art and to put in images that I've gotten, free images that I've collaged together into basically roughly what I want as the cover image. And then it will generate an artistically rendered thing of the photographs I've collaged together. And so that way it's basically the AI is working as a filter for me. And that is the way that I do my covers and stuff like that, because I sucketh artistic wise. I mean, honestly, I still think my best covers were my Ghost With series covers, on sale this weekend. That they, but my daughter's a multimedia graphics. She's got a degree in multimedia graphics. There's no jobs, so she started her dog sitting business. But she put I found images. I did a sketch and showed her what I wanted. And here's the images that I found. And, she was in college at the time, so she still had access to a extremely expensive Adobe suite through her college. And, once she was out of college, we were looking at paying $800 a year for that program. And I hate the fact that you can no longer buy and use a program, that you have to lease the programs, like you lease the streaming services. And so now you're paying an exorbitant monthly membership fee. I have a friend that I haven't talked to him in 2 years. I haven't talked to him since his grandmother passed, but he was a graphic artist, and he was literally taking one college class a semester to maintain access to the art programs that he used for his degree and his business, because he could not afford to pay the fees for them monthly or yearly. And it's, these are problems that, this AI startup is great, but these price points.
The price points get me, because I just really quick, I added up all of the stuff that I've paid out. And now keep in mind, the stuff that I've paid out, some of these things you pay for them and you can use them on multiple books. So it's not like you're going to just use it on one book. And then you can get cover art a lot cheaper than I get cover art, but if I go by what my original cover arts for my series are,
Yeah, one of my things
than their lowest group, their grouping.
Their lowest grouping is their lowest cost is what I made on my books during the put together the best 3 years of my writing put together. That's what I made on my books for their lowest price. I have been writing and publishing since my first book was published in 2019, 2017, and I haven't made the higher end price point for all of them. If you're a new author, if you're a starting out author, Eva, their prices start at $1,500 and go up to $5,000. And that's not having a human look at your book. That is straight AI looking at your book the whole time. Esty Houston, Shannon, who does morning sprints on here, she runs the AuthorTube Writers Conference in the summer. When she was putting out her Clash of the Goddesses trilogy, she did a series of YouTube videos for like 6 months, I think, where she was putting out like reports, biweekly reports on this is how much I'm spending on ads. This is how much I'm spending on this. This is how much I'm spending on that. And she has several videos that are literally month to month projections, week to week, biweekly projections of how much she's paying for ads, which ads she's using, which ads are doing traffic, how much developmental editing cost, how much her covers cost. She ended up making her third cover because she ran out of her budget. She ran through her $5,000 budget, and she is still significantly in debt for her first trilogy just to get the first trilogy out there. So, yeah.
So, Eva, I wanted to just a moment talk about this. Humans make more mistakes than computers, so the price is great if it does a developmental edits. My dev edit prices are usually $700 to $1,400 a manuscript, and that's not line copy edits, proofing, or anything else. But here's my problem. If they're just using the AI to do it and they don't have someone that is behind them that knows what they're doing when it comes to grammar, when it comes to editing, when it comes to publications, period, then that can be problematic because I've watched somebody use you can even go to the Nerdy Novelist and watch his videos, and it takes work. It takes time for somebody to go through all of that using AI, and it takes somebody knowing what they're doing to go through all of that with the AI to get it right. So that's what bothers me is if they're not, if none of them are in that expertise, in that field of expertise like you are, what are they going to catch? Will they even catch it? Or will they just be like, oh, well, the AI says it's good, and not question it and not go forward? So I guess it's going to take seeing examples of what they do before I would be like, oh yeah, that's great.
Yeah, if you examples of like AI stories, you can actually find them on YouTube. There's a bunch of C-drama story channels, Galaxy of Books, The Story Weaver, Timeless Love, Drama Stories, My Star Stories, Drama Life Story, Drama Story Life, The Love Little Bookstore, Mirth Story. There's so many of them. One of the channels that I follow that is a new channel. She mixes AI in person, but you writing for the stories, and she puts the efforts, or he puts the effort into his stories, but you can tell that they're not an English speaker going through the stories before they're being put out, because like things like the pronouns are constantly switching. He he, she, him, her. The pronouns are constantly switching, which is one of the really annoying things. And it's that happens in the stories. Little Meow Tweets is a person writing through an AI translator. But the other one, the Story Vault, Comic Story Worlds, these are all AI generated and AI translated story, and the content is just cringe. They use the same like 5 or 6 names for the characters in literally every single story. They just pick the most popular name when the stories are being generated, and what is it? It's Ethan and Emily is like the name in everything. I put the word himself, herself, or himself into any editor, and it thinks it's not a valid freaking word. Yeah. I have a style of writing where I have my dialogue has like ellipses in it because I use it as a pause or a stutter. Oh my goodness, the AI writing tools hate me. They're like, can you take this out? And I'm like, you can have my ellipses when you pry it and my coffee cup from my cold dead hands.
They love Southern accents too.
Try writing someone with a Scottish accent, because like I'm rewriting Servants of the Moon right now, and Niall has when he's been in his wolf, his Scottish ancestry pops out of his mouth, and so he speaks. And anytime you put a like Morgana is grandmother, and it's like you put that in there and they're like, that's not a word. You're like, yes, it is a word. Just leave it alone.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be the Spine startup is going to be along with like CBB Design said, the throat stabby AI YouTube commercials that are just blasting all of AuthorTube right now. Generate your AI book. You don't even have to write the book. It'll write it for you. No, it won't. These are, I mean, and oh yeah, it's like there's like, I like block these. I'm constantly blocking the ads for these, and it's just, it's, you're going to ruin someone. These people don't understand how badly they're going to ruin someone's writer life. I mean, their writer dreams with these little scammy telemarketer generative AI programs without human interaction, because
So here's okay. I will give AI the benefit of the doubt whenever it does generate something good. Now, this is not saying that AI assistance is bad, or if somebody wants to use Spines to get their book out there. But to me, I would rather just follow my gut instinct, use the tools at my disposal, rather than pay somebody who's not even going to really help me. Because according to some of the research that I've done on Spines, they don't have global distribution. It's just Amazon. That's all they put your book on there. Amazon. That's it. So yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I just realized myself.
I didn't have time to research it, so I want to research it now because I'm curious exactly what you're doing.
I did take some time to research it, and they are not the only one. There's a half a dozen companies that are working on basically, like Skye said, becoming AI vanity presses. It's the problem with it is they're not authors. They don't know that process. And, I'm not trying to gatekeep. I'm not trying to gatekeep because, I'm the last one to be qualified to say I'm an author because, about 10 years ago, I was sitting in the car, had a stroke, and afterwards, I couldn't make the word baseball come out of my mouth because I just could, I lost language and I had to return. So it's going to be interesting to see how it goes. We already know that we have generative AI filters that people are using, like they're using in academic spaces to stop students from creating AI generated thesis and essays and term papers, because that is a problem. We know that AI removes they were saying that they were removing a few hundred books a week that were AI generated books. Now they're not saying how many of those they're removing, so we do not know. So it's going to be, we're going to have to see, are they going to allow books AI generated books using platforms that have admitted to plagiarizing content? Are they going to allow AI generated artwork from platforms where you do not have the ability to turn off existing artwork? We're just going to have to see. We're going to have to see how much programming they actually put into their AI style editor, because all authors have different writing styles. And if you start combing out it's like combing the tangles out of a child's hair. You start combing out the styles, then instead of curls and waves and spiky little points, you're just going to have this smooth ponytail. And with no deviation of creativity, we're not going to, you won't have braids anymore. You're just going to have straight hair and a ponytail. So it's a terrifying thing that they're talking about putting out books in 21 days and flooding the market with 8,000 new books a year and planning to increase that tenfold in 10 years.
I worry about, because they are so focused on saying that it's only indie authors that are doing this, and then the next thing you know, there's yet another stigma to being an indie author.
And indie authors are already suffering. We are already suffering the bad AI content thing. I mean, it's been creeping in for the last 2 years, and it's just, we're kind of insulated in our little corner of AuthorTube, but like you go to author platforms, Amazon, BookFunnel, all those, you go to the other author sites in India, in Asia, in China, in Japan, in Korea, in these huge markets across the Pacific. And they have thousands of AI books generated a month that they're dealing with. It is literally, it's their problem over there. It's just a matter of time before we have it over here. And so when you go into Amazon, there is a little thing that did you use any AI, generative AI? And it'll say, did you use it for editing and did you use it for translating? Did you use it for writing the content? Did you use it for your cover, for images in the book? That is something that Amazon is actually ahead of the curve on, having everybody marking that now. And unfortunately, they're not very good at checking that. It's usually books that are reported as AI that are the ones getting pulled. So, and they told me when I click the generated, I put in my AI generator and I put in cover image only. And then I filter into something I can use for my book covers. So I have the proof that I generated the original. So it's, they're starting on it, but right now I have a half-star books. We're looking at a struggle. The entire writing industry, from the writer end of it to the publisher end of it. This is something that we are facing right now that we're going to be dealing with probably for the next decade. And it's going to be a struggle because, we already have lack of visibility. And with the AI stories flooding into these platforms, the less human contact we have, the less I don't know. It's creating with if you need AIs to help refine your plots, to help generate a story idea, to help generate a character profile, it's a tool. It is a tool like any other tool. It's a tool like we use our tarot cards for writing. However, when the AI is writing for you, that's when it goes from being a tool to being a crutch.
I want to also.
You're not, and I'm gonna give the unpopular opinion. If the AI is writing for you, you're not a real writer. The AI is the writer, not you.
When you get to a point where you can't make a decision without asking AI, but it's your character, is it really your character? That's the question.
Yeah.
And when you're handing over your manuscript to a publisher like this, who says up front that everything is going to be done via AI, and you've researched and you see that they don't have any writers or editors that are working with the AI to help it out, that makes it not yours anymore. But like you legally own it, but creatively speaking, and it makes me wonder how much of your character is going to be left after that. How much of your writing is going to be left. That's my problem, because I don't have a problem with people who want to use a vanity press if they're wanting to get certain things out of their hands, and they want to use the things that the press is providing to them. I'm fine with that. I don't mind people using AI as a tool. That's not a problem for me. But when it comes to this, it really makes me wonder how much of the actual work is going to be transformed and the author not realize it until it's too late.
Well, and even as writers, we have conflicts with our alpha and beta readers. We have conflicts with our developmental editors. You all know the conflict I went through with the Pagosa Cliffs Anemone series, where I had an editor that wanted me to take all of the therapy references out because in her personal experience, therapy doesn't work for anyone. And part of my character's arc was her using therapy as part of her recovery to overcome the trauma in her life. And so, the AI is not going to understand that. The AI is not going to understand my alcoholic sheriff who sits at a table and stares at a glass of whiskey and ice, watching the ice melt because he is too damn stubborn to drink alone, but he wants to see the bottom of the bottle and open the next one. And so these are things that, even as humans working with humans, we have content conflict. We have stylized conflict. And it's going to be, like I said, it's going to be the Wild West in writing for the next decade or so. And the style guide is going to be yeah. Yeah, pretty much. Or they're going to see the word addiction, or we're all on the wait and see thing, but is the AI writing with you, or is the AI
That's what I want.
altering? Is the AI altering your character creation? I mean, you're their parent. You're your character's parent. Are they telling you how to parent? So it's gonna be interesting.
So does Mama Maggie, Dawn, because like when you have characters that live that long, they need therapy. So
Oh yeah. Oh, I have a character, and I have a character in Relic of Time Wars that after the war, she has gone through so much trauma that after she finally her soul breaks, they have to like erase her memories completely and erase half of her mind to keep her from literally dying of her grief. So yeah, it's going to be crazy. Hi, Shannon. We were talking about your the expenses that you incurred writing Clash of the Goddesses.
So to touch on this a little bit too, the 2 videos that I watched on spines, and these people apparently did a little bit of research more than probably what I did. They doesn't really mean that they're bestsellers or whatnot, but still. So I don't think they put that much money into marketing either. And so it's like, so if you go with them, what exactly are you getting?
yeah,
Other than a cover that's AI generated, some light editing that is AI assisted. Well,
and
not
Mama
even
Maggie
human
can coach
assisted.
you on doing that yourself
Yeah,
without hurting anybody else along the way. And you know, I know plenty of people, again, like I said, nerdy novelists and stuff, that goes through and coaches people on how to use AI as a tool so that they can, you know, further their own work. I use it, PWA and AutoCrit, specifically for making sure that I'm getting rid of all that passive voice and making sure that things flow better. But I don't use the generative part of it. It's just the, you know, hey, check this, you did this wrong, you did this wrong. So
Yeah.
it's like if you can take that $1,400 that you were going to invest in Spine and put it into your own business by hiring people or doing it yourself using these tools as actual tools, then I don't understand. I would have to interview somebody that's actually gone through the process to see what was better.
It's going to be. They are literally working on things like the Jane Austen AI generator. They are working on this program. And you have to understand, generative AI is the algorithm. It is to seek algorithms. It is to seek patterns and repeat patterns. That is basically what these generative AI things are. Is they take information and they repeat it as a pattern into something that is a different thing than the thing they took the information from. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. Are they just building a tool like who is it? Publishing.com uses to, you know, create the ebooks.
yeah. So it's like
they even offer it as
yourself
part of their package. That's what gets me. They actually put it as part of their package, the copywriting, and I'm like, but how if it's using AI? I don't understand.
And another thing with the volume of books, if they're going to use actual people's works, are you going to have that many people actually paying that much for you to publish their books, for Spines to publish their books? And that's where it's like, okay, is this an actual person Or is Spine's coming up with an AI book and publishing it, calling it a person?
Just so that they can meet what they promised. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay. That's a good point.
Yeah, it's really leaning into what we understand as the concept of Creative Commons, which is creativity shared to the public, not copyrighted, versus copyrighted creative personal property.
This is a point too. So the writers retain their own copyright, and our writing is copyrightable as soon as we create it. So that, I mean, yeah, but how much are they going to change whenever you purchase that package and you give them your work? You know, even if they are editors, how good of an editing team do they have to back up the AI edits? And how much is that AI changing to say that, is it copyrightable still because it's your work? Or is it not copyrightable because the AI has changed it that much? What's the level of change for it to be still yours and not the AI?
Where does the plagiarism threshold fall?
Right.
Because if you change a work, it depends on which country you're in, a certain amount, then it becomes your work. So
if you go by the music rules and stuff, it's
and the other thing is I mean, are they going to have things where they're going to set Cambridge style, Oxford style, Chicago style? Are they going to let you like flip the tabs? Are they going to let you write in colloquialisms? Because colloquialisms, literally, I actually studied this did research on this for a book that I was doing, and colloquialisms literally change from country to country, from culture to culture. It's like, to say someone is a green tea girl in the United States means that she doesn't like coffee, that she's kind of anti-trend anime girl, doesn't like coffee. But if you're in China and you say someone's a green tea girl, that means that she is a promiscuous flirt who likes to take other people's men, but she uses her sad, innocent demeanor to do that. So it's going to be interesting to see how this develops. Like I said, the next 10 years, we're all going to be watching it. We just don't know. Yeah, exactly. There are so many questions that are not answerable at this point. Yes, a White Lotus girl with peach blossom eyes.
Yes. We float right into it, don't we?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I've written books. And there are some where there's gray areas. And right now, it's like the white and the black are separated by this huge void of gray, because right now we all use non-generative AI, writing, spell checking, grammar checking every single day. In any program you use, if you use Grammarly, if you use Scrivener, if you use Word, you have non-generative AI looking at your work as you're writing. And pretty much with all of the programs these days, if you're on Google, you have an AI. If you're logged onto the internet right now through Google, if you have Google on your computer, Google is looking at everything you do. If you have Safari or Foxfire on your computer, it is looking at everything you write. Any email server you use has non-generative AI looking at everything you write. So Pandora's box is already opened. We've already fallen down the rabbit hole. now with the introduction of generative AI and that particular Mad Hatter and White Rabbit and Red Queen rolled into one ball, we're just either we're back to pen and pencil days, or we're already standing in the shallow water.
Muted.
Okay, I'm just going to stop typing. So Word now reads your work and stuff like that, and you have to go in and actually change the settings for it not to use it for its algorithm. Use your work for its algorithm. Yeah, I know. Yeah. And I do apologize about the internet and the spinning wheels and everything like that. It's either my internet or it's Streamlabs or it's both. Or it's this talk because they're not liking it. But yeah. Oh, goodness. Any final thoughts?
If my thought is AI is a tool. If you need writing prompts, Chandra and Natalie just came out with a book this year on 1,000 flash fiction prompts. They have the Flash Fiction Live program on Saturdays or on weekend mornings, like every other week. They've got archives going back 2 years for Flash Fiction Live. Please, AI's for generating prompts. It's the same as, I use Tarot for writers. I enjoy using this to generate prompts, to generate story things. I find it entertaining if that is what you use to generate your prompts and stuff. That's what you choose to use. But the writing needs to come from you. It needs to come from your heart. It needs to come from your creative well. Using AI to generate ideas is one thing. Using AI to do your work, to do the heavy lifting of creativity, because we all know that creative author life can be as tired as going out and digging ditches and planting fields. It is a choice that you have to make for yourself as an individual, but we're all in a wait and see to see where it goes.
We come up with weirder stuff than the AI, I think, sometimes.
Oh, yeah. Oh, definitely, yeah.
Definitely, yeah. Oh, goodness. Yeah. I'm a little worried, but at the same time, like Rach said, my brain is a far darker place than any AI can ever come up with.
I think so.
Remember AI when you get imposter syndrome? Yes, this right here. So who's the dragon and who's the human? Or are all three of us dragons? Oh, goodness. All right. Get a big trench coat and get set. Yeah.
I don't know that
we're going to be selling our indie author books in a back alley somewhere. Hey, guy, you want a real book? You want a book written by a real person? I got a human book here.
The drug dealer. I'm the book dealer.
Oh, goodness. Yeah. The new era of Rolex dealers. It's book dealers. Okay.
Yeah, you want a paper book that'll cost you extra.
Mm.
About some Shakespeare on the sly. I'll have a hookup. Yep.
Got some short stories back here.
Oh, goodness.
Okay, so we tackled
All
the
right.
subjects. Are we good?
I think so. All right. Cool.
We'll have to come back to this.
Yeah,
Yeah. As
I
more
think
comes out,
I think in a year we're going to be visiting this again.
Mhm.
I think this is going to be a topic that we're going to be coming back to year after year after year, and it's also going to change the whole book face of like people who rapid publish.
yeah.
Because I've been asked if
Technically,
I rapid publish, and I've been asked if I AI write, and I'm like, no, I was just this stupid person that word vomited for 5 years, and then continued to word vomit when I started editing, and now I've got 10 years worth of books to edit.
Oh, I have to get going, guys. Now it's my turn to do the mute. Bye.
Bye. So next week's sketchy topic, I don't know yet. Can't really beat this one, right? So we might do YouTube's algorithm or something to really tick off everybody or all the overlords and make us freeze up.
Yeah.
Holidays.
Yeah. We can talk about how Amazon makes it extremely unfriendly for indie authors and the holiday book sales, because the vast majority of print books that are being ordered right now will not be received before the holidays. You know, and all of us, like I've been running Black Friday week and Cyber Monday week and Bookmas sales. And I've had several print books ordered through my sales, which print books, that's another pick that I have with Amazon, is we cannot put our print books on sale.
Yep.
Like we can do our ebooks, but I've had several print books ordered. The problem is I know from their printing timeline that the people who ordered these books will not get them by Christmas. And so, yeah, that's meanwhile, the publishing houses have like a few thousand to several thousand of their books printed and weighted that can just be shipped out the next day, while indie authors have to wait out the 2-week printing period for the books to get out. And it's like, if you haven't ordered a print book now, you're not going to get it until after the New Year's.
No.
So, yeah, I ordered several of my print books ahead and am selling them through my Ko-fi, because I know that if people try to order a print book from Amazon right now or from any of the other platforms right now, they're not going to be able to get that book for Christmas.
Yeah. And it needs to be easier to gift too. Right. Okay, so I've got, I guess, 6 topics now.
Yeah.
For next time.
The comment, Heather, is, so what if a company like mine throws out the app and the e-reader? Yeah. There's already Chinese-based apps that are ebook apps. It's like the story channels that I listed earlier. These are all micro stories from several different companies. Book reading app when you start going through these channels, you're going to find out that these stories are like on a repeating loop. There are multiple overlapping stories from multiple platforms run by different groups that have literally popped up in 2024. I think the oldest one I found was in 2022. And I need to do that video on the ebook stories. But I'm kind of afraid to do it because so far I have a list of over 50 YouTube channels that are that are publishing videos with AI generated text and AI generated voiceovers and AI generated translations. And it's basically the same story. I'm finding that like there's 19 different platforms that use the same stories except for the names. So yeah, I don't want to get myself reported into oblivion. So I've kind of backed off that thing. But yeah, like I said, there's AI is here. Pandora's box has been opened, and we're just going to have to wait. We're just stuck waiting to see what happens.
Yeah. Heather says that she's interested in that, though. If you can find a workaround not to get banned. Yeah, the AI voiceovers.
Shannon, some of these channels would drive you crazy. With the pronouns that are messed up and the verbs that are messed up, the verb tenses that are constantly switching back and forth. And some of them, like the character names, will change like mid video. So you'll be like 20 minutes in and then the character name will change. And there was one scene where the character name for the main protagonist, male, the character name was changing like every other sentence. And it was the same character. So it sounded like there was actually like several people in the scene and it was actually only just two.
Yeah.
Let's not get me banned.
All right. We better go. We've been at this for an hour and a half.
Well, I haven't. So... I was asleep an hour ago. And then Indigo went, Mom, I have to pee. And I went, oh, take her to the door, open the door, look at the sun. And I'm like, I have to go get online. I have to go get online right now because today's topic was my idea. I haven't even had coffee this morning. I'm surprised that I can make words.
Yeah, let's see. I think that there'll be 3 groups regarding the robot created stories. People who only want human stories, people who like the robot because of the quantity of content, and folks in between. Yeah. I can see that. Yeah, go stretch. What are words? Yes, very much so. All right.
Read ahead.
You want to go ahead and do your outro, and then I'll do mine.
Thank you for watching, lovelies. Please forgive me for being late today. I'm Mama Magie Ward, independent author, stroke survivor, migraine sufferer. I have books. The Ghost with Cats trilogy, Book of Elo trilogy, is on sale through I think the sale ends on Monday. 99 cents a book for Bookmas. And I will be re-releasing the Pagosa Cliffs and Enemies trilogy starting in January, so that I have gotten them back from my publishing house, and I'm putting them out. I'm getting everything on the same platform so that I can have them set up. And I am planning on having a Plannerly stream sometime this coming week where we just sit down and make planners together. Don't read that. Please forgive me, Shannon. Okay. I love you, Shannon. Yes, I love all of you. I wish you the best and to be blessed.
All right. Thank you all for joining us. We will be back next Sunday, and we'll probably be talking about holiday stuff. When to order your books for holiday shipping and all that good stuff, and how to deal with family distractions too. And the sigh already. Don't forget to check out all the links in the description box and the links that I have shared in the chat, especially the one on spines if you want to learn more about AI publishing and what to watch out for, especially if another program or company like that pops up. And yeah, Maggie's YouTube channel.
Thank you, Shannon.
Just Shannon, get it?
Yeah. Penumbra Mind
Okay, cool.
LLC is my business, and MM Ward is my writing name. MM Ward with the double dots, M.M. Ward. But you can't put the dots in YouTube, so.
Right. All right. So thank you all. We'll see you next time. Bye.